Barbie Cooks, and I am the potato queen of the internet. And today I want to show you some recipes which are not potatoes actually, they're nothing to do with potatoes. They're actually delicious side dishes to your festive meals, whether that's Thanksgiving, whether it's Christmas dinner, or even just a delicious Sunday roast. And I want to show you how to make delicious vegetable sides. So you can get kind of used to your honey glazed parsnips, your kind of honey glazed carrots, and a bit of cabbage, which can be a little bit mundane. You know, we've all had it for many, many years. Christmas comes around every single year and we have the same thing. So let's just make it even more exciting and even more Christmassy and even more delicious. I'm going to show you three different things. So we're going to do carrots, we're going to do parsnips, and we're going to do cabbage, because you need a bit of leafy green. Just because, basically, especially if you don't like sprouts. So I'm going to show you how to make brown butter, cumin, confit carrots, and then also some air fryer honey glazed chili parsnips, and how to just jazz up a little bit of Savoy cabbage. A very easy way to do it. Bit of bacon, bit of chestnut, very Christmassy. So I'm going to start off with our carrots actually, because they're going to take the longest to cook. And again, if you're doing a festive meal or if you're cooking for loads of people, these can be done up to 2 to 3 days in advance. So then all you have to do is warm them up and they're ready to go. So I've got some lovely carrots. Now they're all a little bit different shapes and sizes, but it's fine. But they're all fairly small actually. They all kind of fit in the palm of my hand. So I've peeled up some, I'll just peel the rest of them. Now, I do love butter. It's one of my favourite things in the whole world, apart from potatoes. So of course these are going to get cooked in complete butter, but we're going to do brown butter. Now you can do these carrots on the hob like I'm going to do, because I find it easier personally, or you can even do them in the oven, and I'll show you a little bit how to do it, but we're going to crack on the hob. So I'm going to get a saucepan that can fit all the carrots in quite snugly and also have plenty of butter on them. Let me just check that fits. Yeah, they all kind of fit in a layer, which is great. Move these bits over. I'm gonna get it on a medium-high heat. I'm gonna grab a whole block of unsalted butter. We're gonna add flavour to it. Cut your butter into cubes, just to help it melt down a bit quicker. I used to be the butter cuber at work on pastry. I'd just cube blocks and blocks of butter. That then goes into our saucepan. So on a medium-high heat, butter goes in. Now, we are making brown butter, which is a noisette, or beurre noisette, sorry. So noisette in French is hazelnut or nut. Beurre noisette is, it's like nutty butter, basically. So we're gonna cook the butter until, basically, the buttermilk kind of separate, and then those buttermilk particles, those milky bits at the bottom, they start to turn brown and cook and caramelize basically. And that's what we're looking to do. We're gonna have to time it fairly well to make sure we don't go too far and make it a fully burnt butter, and that we actually get that lovely brown nuttiness. Whilst that butter's on as well, I'm gonna grab some cumin. So I'm gonna throw into our butter, whilst it's getting brown and delicious, a star anise, just the one, which is a nice aniseedy, licoricey, but it's not too overpowering, it's very subtle. A little bit of cinnamon bark. I've got some garlic cloves as well. You know what, I'll just bash them ever so slightly. That wasn't so ever so slightly, that was quite a lot. So they're just opened ever so slightly. It doesn't matter if the skin's on, that's absolutely fine. They can go in. We're just adding flavour at every opportunity. We've got a teaspoon of cumin seeds, which just go really well with carrot. Carrots are really sweet and savoury. and delicious. So all these other savoury flavours and all these aromatics are just going to elevate the delicious natural flavour of butter and carrots. You can see there's becoming a layer of foamy stuff. Again, that's like those milk solids coming up, and also you've got milk solids underneath, which are the bits that are going to go lovely and nutty and brown. And you'll see that once it gets to like brown butter, it gets really foamy, and then like there's like a brown bit that just foams up like that. I went really cross-eyed then as well. Oh, it smells good. Okay, it's beginning. The process is happening. We're seeing a little bit of brown caramelization around the edge. It's smelling nuttier. You'll smell nuttiness. I don't know, that's the only way to describe it, is that it gets nutty. It's very foamy as well. That's another telltale sign that we're getting to brown butter. I'm giving it good swills just to make sure nothing catches. I'm going to turn it down just because it is going to cook for longer, because we're going to get the carrots in as well. But I am happy that that is getting to a brown butter stage. At this point, I'm going to get the carrots in. Just kind of get them all in there. And there should be enough then, with all the weight of the carrots, to get covered in delicious brown butter. I've turned that down to a medium heat, and I'm also going to get, just for a bit of acidity, because we've got caramelization, we've got rich butteriness, we've got spices or aromatics. I'm going to add a little bit of, I've got muscatel vinegar here, but it's quite a sharp but very sweet vinegar. So you could use a white wine vinegar or a red wine vinegar, would be absolutely fine, but just a teaspoon. Just to add a touch of sharpness, because otherwise it's going to be so rich. But then I counteract it a little bit by adding a little bit of maple syrup in there. Just a teaspoon of that as well. Give them a little mix around. You can get the spices kind of on top of them rather than underneath, so they're nice and flat in there. And then, like I said, this is on a medium heat now. I'll probably turn it down a touch more in a minute. And we leave them to do their things. I'm going to find a lid. They are going to do their thing and cook and get lovely and soft, but not mushy. They're still going to have texture, they're still going to be round, and then they're going to be perfect on your Christmas dinner. As we're also using unsalted butter, you need a good pinch of salt in there. Pinch and a half. There we go. We'll move on to doing some parsnips, shall we? So, parsnips, crucial in a Christmas dinner. I'm not so sure about Thanksgiving, to be honest with you, but let me know if you have parsnips on your Thanksgiving dinner. Anyway, in the UK, we love a honey glazed roasted parsnip. But on that big day, when everything's going on and you've got the oven full to the brim of everything that you're doing, you can use other appliances, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make the air fryer honey roasted carrots. They're super easy, super delicious, and it saves you a little bit of space. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to get a little glaze going on. So it's going to have honey, chili, garlic, but I can't remember the measurements. Let me get the book. It's in my book. Hang on, it's in my other book. So, and I know I said I'm not plugging books, but I might as well. It's my own YouTube channel. I can do what I like. So this is the actually delicious air fryer cookbook, which I released last year. Which was also a Sunday Times bestseller, but it only came fourth, not first. Slow Cooker was first, this is fourth, but still great. There we go. So, chili, honey, roasted parsnips. We're going to need 2 tablespoons of runny honey, 1 tablespoon of chili flakes, they're spicy, 1 garlic clove crushed. I'm actually just going to use a teaspoon of already minced jarred garlic because it's easy. 4 fattish parsnips. I am going to do a few more because it's the big day. So this is more for like serving 4 people. On the big day, we're serving maybe 6 to 8. So I'm going to do an extra parsnips, a little bit of melted butter and salt and pepper. And we're just going to make a glaze and then put them in the air fryer. Simple, no boiling, no baking. I'm going to do like a pouring of tablespoons. 1-ish, 2-ish. Then we have a tablespoon of chili flakes. Spicy. Why not have ridiculously hot parsnips on Christmas? Or Thanksgiving, or Sunday dinner. And then I'm going to do about a teaspoon of this minced garlic, but you can just use a garlic clove, just chop it up nice and fine or grate it in, is no problem. A little bit of salt, actually a bit more salt. Bit of salt and a little bit of black pepper. Get that in there. We're going to heat it through and make a nice glaze, get it bubbling ever so slightly, just so that the chilli can kind of really infuse with the honey. And we kind of want it to go a little bit reddish from those chilli flakes, because then it gives a lovely bit of colour to your parsnips. So this is a very simple hot honey, really easy to make. Once that comes up to the boil, and again, like I said, gets a little bit of that red tinge from the chilli flakes, then we're ready to go. We're going to need some melted butter as well, because a Christmas recipe isn't the same without a bit of butter, is it? You know what, I might melt the butter in the microwave because it's easier. So I just need about a teaspoon of melted butter. That doesn't sound like a recipe I've written. A teaspoon. We'll put a tablespoon in. Cautionary tablespoon of butter going into the microwave to melt. And that's just to help coat the parsnips once they're in the air fryer. Let me just whack the heat up on this a little bit. So we're at a medium-high heat. It smells like chilli already, like you can smell the aromatic chilli flakes. Lovely. Okay, so that honey has turned, it smells strong. This is spicy. You might want to put a few less chilli flakes in it, depending on your taste bud. That is looking a little bit redder. It's got a bit frothy, so it's going to come off the hob, and then we can mix everything together. So I've got some parsnips. These are beautiful long parsnips, but I had to show you this one. Look at that beast. I'm going to do about 5 parsnips, but the recipe's usually for 4, but I'm feeling like I just want to, you know, rebel. Peel your parsnips, and then we're going to top and tail them. So that just means cutting off the top and just removing the little dodgy bits at the bottom. Cut those bottom bits off, and then just enough. You don't need to take too much off. If you want to be really particular, you can cut them all down to the same size and shape, but we don't work in a restaurant, we work at home. So get your parsnips and cut them into quarters, so lengthways. I might have to cut this thicker one into smaller bits just because of cooking times, but we're going to go for this sort of shape. Now, the reason I'm cutting them into quarters is so that they cook a little bit quicker, and that's with making them in the air fryer, because it is easier in essence. It's very much easier. You just need to make sure that everything is similar in thickness so that it all cooks at the same time. Even if, right, you are going to make your parsnips in the oven, do not parboil them. When you parboil them, you end up with mush. So always, even if you're roasting them in the oven, just roast them raw. From raw, straight into the oven. It'll make sure that you don't have mushy parsnips and that you actually get them cooked all the way through, but with that lovely kind of honey glaze, and it actually sticks to it and stays on it. I do think that parsnips are one of my favourite flavours of anything though. There's something about a parsnip. Melted butter. To be fair, I'm probably going to use about a tablespoon. And then that hot honey. And you don't want to do this in the air fryer, the pouring over and the mixing, because you can't get a good coating on the parsnips. So always do it in a mixing bowl first, or even in a tray, if that's easier for you. Get that spicy, spicy honey all over them. Just get your hands in there. Use gloves if you want to, but just give them a good rummage around and get as much of it on there as you can and coated. You can see how the honey does turn a bit of a reddish colour. It's got a slight tinge of orange in there. And the butter helps with the caramelisation of the parsnips, and that honey's going to give them that lovely charred sort of tacky roastedness. So I've got my air fryer. I'm going to get it preheating to 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So air fry 180. I'm just going to preheat it for a couple of minutes. So I'm going to put 10 minutes on there. And then these are going to cook initially for 8 minutes and then they go back in, but we'll just leave it to preheat for a couple of minutes. So once it's preheated, pour your parsnips in. Kind of try and spread them out so they're a little bit on like an even level. And then keep that, because we're going to reglaze them halfway through. Get them in, start off with for about 8 minutes, then we're going to toss them, put that rest of that glaze on, then we're going to continue cooking them for another 8 minutes. Anyway, they've had 8 minutes, so we're going to then just pour the rest of this over the babies. You can see they're starting to get a bit of caramelisation already, but that first 8 minutes is to kind of like cook them good. And then they go back in again, 180 degrees, same again, 8 minutes. Just check after 8 minutes though, because if they're a bit bigger, they might need a bit longer. Back on, air fry, 180, 8 minutes. How easy is that? You could just do that on your festive day, whatever day it is, and you don't have to worry about them. So we've got carrots on, almost done. We've got parsnips on, almost done. Now we're going to make cabbage. Yes! So I've got Savoy cabbage. Best way to chop it down is to go straight through the middle. So I'm going to use half a cabbage today. Quarter it, and then just cut out that bit. That's the core. That's the word I was looking for. So just at an angle, cut that out. It doesn't need to come apart. It's still all connected, but that bit's a little bit tough. I'm going to keep it fairly thick because I still want there to be a lot of texture. If you go you can go thinner, but I find that it kind of wilts down and kind of loses a little bit of its liveliness. So I'm going to chop into about an inch thick, which is 2.5 centimetres. These rooty bits, again, just put them into your compost. When it comes to a leafy green, you don't have to use water to cook it. And as it's Christmas, we're going to cook it in butter, but I'm just going to get the other bits prepped for it. We're going to do a little bit of bacon and chestnut in there. So I've just got outdoor bred streaky smoked bacon rashers. I'm going to cut them into, again, about inch thick sort of cubes, chunks, slithers, slices. The idea was to put some chestnuts in it, but I opened these chestnuts a couple of weeks ago and now they are hideously mouldy, so we're not doing chestnuts anymore. So we're actually going to do hazelnuts, bacon and stuffing. I've got some hazelnuts, about a small handful. I'm just going to chop them slightly just to break them a little bit. They don't need to be too finely chopped. We can still have some whole nuts in there. Actually, scratch that. I'm chopping them. That should be fine. This is going to be a on a hot heat, but get the bacon in whilst it's cold, okay? So that the bacon can rise with the temperature of the pan and also render out the fat in the bacon. So we want the fattiness from the bacon. When you're looking to caramelise anything or get nice golden bits, try not to stir it too much. The temptation is just to keep mixing, stirring and moving around, but it is better if you leave it in the spot so that the heat can really connect and get that lovely caramelisation. I can't wait any longer. I gave in to temptation. I couldn't wait. Now, I know I said we're going to be using the bacon fat, but I lied. We're going to put some butter in as well because we're also going to toast off some stuffing breadcrumbs. About 50 grams of butter, something like that. And then about 3 tablespoons of, this is a sage and onion stuffing mix. Just to add a bit of texture and crunch. So in the butter, that's going to get crispy. And turn it down slightly just so we've got time for those breadcrumbs to get cooked. Okay, they can go in now. And because they've got it and it's going to be dry, I'm adding another knob of butter and I don't even care. So once you've got this lovely caramelisation, everything's foaming in butter, it's all a little bit golden in colour, it's crunchy in texture, it's salty, it's smelly, it's sagey, it's oniony. Now we're going to get our cabbage in. And like I said, you don't need water. Well, you don't need to boil cabbage to make it cooked. To cook it. Just to help it along, I am going to add a touch of chicken stock. It's almost like stir frying, really. And with leafy greens and cabbages, you don't want to cook them too much. Even if you turn this pan off now, they would still get fully cooked because of that. I keep saying residual heat in everything, but it is a residual heat. They're mainly made up of water, these cabbages. So you don't need to add too much to it to get it cooked. Again, if you wanted to though, you could do this in the morning before you do everything else. Get it into a bowl. So don't cook it quite as much as I've done. It'll probably just be get that bit of stock in, take it off the heat, get it into your serving dish, and then you can just cling film it. Beep, 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 beep. Chef Mike in the corner, get it in the microwave for a couple of minutes, ready to go. Lovely. That's coming off. And then everything else is ready. So I'm going to serve up the carrots, the parsnips, and the cabbage. So let's get the cabbage served up. Obviously, I am using smaller portions here, but serve it however you like. But I just want to get all my bits onto this one tray, if you know what I mean. Get those crummy bits under there. Then grab your carrots. You can see, I mean, they're soft, but they've held their shape. That you can see there's a little bit of that brown butter, the caramelisation of the milk solids are all coating the delicious carrot. Get that into your trays. Just remove the whole spices, because no one wants to eat those bits. As in like the star anise and the cinnamon, but the cumin seeds are fine. Just a bit more butter for good luck. And then we've got our parsnips. Caramelised and spicy. Oh, look at those shards of deliciousness. Completely glazed, coated, chili, honey, parsnip goodness. And then this is a lovely selection of Christmas side dishes. We've got our brown butter, cumin, confit carrots. We've got our, now it's changed a little bit, it's our Savoy cabbage with bacon, stuffing and hazelnuts. And we've got our hot honey air fryer parsnips. It's Christmas. There you have it, all these delicious sides. So let's try a little bit of delicious carrot. It just melts in your mouth. It's been cooked in that lovely nutty butter with all those aromats and spices. Oh God, that's so good. There's still a slight bite to it, which is perfect. I'll leave that on the side. I'll eat the rest of that later. Now, le parsnip, one of my favourites. I'm going for this crunchy boy. Those little thin tail ends. Oh, it's spicy. Woo! It's good. Those little thin bits at the end get super tacky and crunchy, and then you've still got soft, fluffy parsnip in there. That with some gravy. Right, sorry. Oh, one more thing for it. Then you've got delicious cabbage with bacon and hazelnuts and sage and onion stuffing. There's still texture in the cabbage, which is what you want. It's rich in flavour. You've got the salty bacon, crunchy hazelnut, the crunchy stuffing bits as well. Honestly, you serve this up with any dinner, people are going to be well impressed. 10 out of 10. If you like the videos, then please do like and subscribe, give me a little comment, or or don't watch. I don't mind what you do. It's up to you, but you know, don't miss out on this great content. I think it's great anyway. So, thank you.